The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of Green Acres and our guests. These general gardening tips and suggestions may work for you, as well as those from alternative sources. When using any garden products or tools, read and follow all label directions. And learn how to make your yard summer strong at bewatersmart.info.
The Green Acres Garden Podcast is the podcast dedicated to helping gardeners hone their growing skills while we celebrate our love of plants. So whether you're new to growing or a seasoned gardener, you're sure to learn something new. Join the fun as we have conversations with world-class growers, passionate green thumbs, and professional garden experts from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Listen every week. We'll answer questions you didn't know you had. I was in the backyard this week in Austin.
Yeah.
I have a little tiny patch of grass. I know we love our drought tolerance, our climate adapted plants and natives. But I do have a small patch of lawn out there for the family to enjoy. But I kept noticing, man, some areas are like not getting watered. What's going on? I've been adjusting them all summer. But I'm like, why? What's going on?
Yeah,
so I'm fixing them. Some of them are adjustable where I can open up the sprays and whatnot. So as I get them all properly fixed, I'm like, oh, they're working perfect. This is great. Turn them on. I'm walking away. I'm kind of enjoying the yard. I look down. The twins, the 1-year-olds, they walk over to the sprinklers and they just start grabbing them. One's mashing one with like a plastic baseball bat. And all of a sudden now they're getting turned in different directions. Some are getting closed. And I'm just like, okay, that explains it.
There we go. You got some little rascals messing with the irrigation.
Yeah, pests, garden pests, as it were. But are we rolling? Okay.
We're rolling.
All right, well, there we go. Hello there and welcome one and all. Thank you for tuning in and appreciate y'all being here. This is the Green Acres Garden Podcast, back for another great episode. We're going to have so much fun. We're taking a break from that summer heat and we're going indoors, Austin.
Let's do it. It's too hot out there.
Yes, the temperature got back up on me. We had it nice there for a few weeks, but it's getting a little toasty. But this week, I love it because...
So what do we do?
I love the garden. I love being in the landscape, but something about the tropicals, the houseplants, and just being indoors, like gardening while indoors, in the AC, it's I love it. It calls to me. And this week we got a good friend of the podcast back for a return episode. We got Zach Filippelli. He is a proper houseplant garden guru.
He's the orchid guy.
He was on for our orchid episode, and he has literally grows thousands of orchids, but he also grows many other houseplants. And he's just a houseplant expert to the nth degree. He's awesome. Very down-to-earth guy with so much to offer. Did you enjoy it, Austin?
I certainly did. And it's making me like nerd out about houseplants all over again. We haven't talked houseplants in a while.
Far too long.
I feel like we're super overdue for this because I love houseplants. I've got myself a small collection. You've got a collection. I've seen some pretty cool, really long vining ones in your house. You've got some cool
They're
ones.
like family members at a certain point. We're like, man, I've had that Pothos for longer than my kids have been alive. We enjoy them. I love them. Actually, can we start with like a plant of the week?
Sure. So you got one you recommend to our listeners?
After talking with Zach, I was like, man, like I said, I was fired up on my houseplants. I'm like, I got to kind of reinvigorate my own collection. I'm back at school. I actually just had my first day back at work.
Congrats.
Summer's over. But it was great because I got to spend some time in the garden, and I also got to check on the houseplants. And you know what? They're looking pretty decent. With a little bit of neglect from the summer and a little bit of love now, they're going to be fine. But it got me thinking. I was like, I got to share a plant of the week.
Okay, what's
that?
So
for me, this was a plant that was so popular during the height of COVID and all that. People were trying to get their hands on it, and they were so expensive. I remember Green Acres they couldn't keep them on the shelves. And even when they did get them, they had to like auction them off to like a person with like a raffle ticket, right? I'm talking about the PPP, the Pink Princess Philodendron. If you know, you know. This is a beautiful tropical plant. It actually has kind of these maroon, really dark colored leaves with this bright splotches of kind of neon pink variegation, kind of these beautiful freckles on there. They're a beautiful plant. They don't get huge. And for me, for such a lovely plant that was so highly sought after, you'd think, oh, this is one of those high-level plants that is so difficult to take care of. I had some, Austin, that were in the classroom over the summer. I'm just going to say they didn't get too much care.
Okay.
They went dry for well over a month. They look great.
Wow.
I gave them a soak today.
Wow.
They're perking back up. And so pretty resilient plant. They're gorgeous. And they're philodendron.
So the care is just like any other philodendron, right?
Yeah, it'll come up in our interview. Philodendrons are just great tropical plants for the house. And these ones really stand out, especially for me. A lot of my house plants are green. And these ones are not. And
they pop with the color.
They stand out. So for me, what's cool now is, like I said, they were so expensive and hard to find just a handful of years ago. Now They're dirt cheap. They're everywhere.
How cool is that?
And they are so beautiful. I love them.
So yeah, and the care is just like any other philodendron, but they just have that really cool pink leaves.
Oh yeah,
some of them are very, very pretty.
You'll get some where like the mutation or the variegation is really striking. Yeah,
that's
people
super
love them.
cool. And it's just so interesting how trends like that can happen, right? The demand shot up, and then now it's kind of changed back over time. But these are still available. They're still great plants. And I think that's a great recommendation, Kevin.
Yeah,
that's
they're
awesome.
fun, and like I said, they're pretty easy to take care of, and they're really it's something that people go, is that a fake plant? And they
Nope.
go, no, that's real.
That's real.
It's just extra pretty.
Okay, if I were to recommend one, let me throw one in there in the mix. I think I would go for the Sansevieria, the snake plant.
Good rec.
I think this is, to me, it's a legendary plant. You know, if I think back when I first met you, Kevin, on our first episode, you gave me one as a gift. It was in a cup of noodles.
That sounds like me, yeah.
It's a styrofoam cup with, beautiful, snake plant in there, probably about a foot tall.
Please tell me you repotted it.
I did, and it's still here. It's still, growing and doing well. And now I have others as well. And I love that plant so much. I even got a tattoo of it on my arm, and I love that plant. So yeah, I would say snake plants are a go-to. They're really, really easy to care for. They don't need a lot of light at all. You can almost put them in a dark corner. And then, yeah, as long as you kind of water them on a semi-regular basis, they're going to do pretty good. And there's lots of cool variegation, right? There's some that have yellow in the leaves.
Tons of variety.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool different ones. And I think that's a no-nonsense, must-have indoor house plant. The snake plant. Go for it.
It's a great beginner plant. If you're looking to get into cultivating houseplants and growing yourself, this is probably the first one you want to start with.
Sure.
They are bulletproof. They tolerate so many rough conditions and neglect, and just reward you with if you give them a little bit of love, they will reward you for it. And they're easy to propagate. You can divide them, make more, and share those. That's how you got yours, buddy. Sorry. But yeah, I love them. They're a fantastic plant, and they just do so well in the home.
All right. Well, I love throwing out recommendations for everyone. I want to inspire everyone to get back into houseplants. Get excited about this. This is a fun topic. Let's go ahead and jump into our interview with Zach. Anything you want to say before we jump into it, Kevin?
Houseplants are awesome, and so is Zach. So this is a great one.
Let's do it. We sat down with Zach at the Green Acres Nursery and Supply in Citrus Heights to talk everything houseplants and houseplant care. Here we go.
There's just something about starting something and just seeing it grow from a small little 4-incher into a big gallon specimen size. Hello, I'm Zach Filippelli. I am an orchid fanatic, houseplant connoisseur. I love everything houseplants. I honestly don't know what the bug that bit me, but the moment I started taking care of plants, it was full board an obsession.
I love it. What are some of your favorite plants that you personally grow? Like I said, I know you're an orchid lover, and what your collection is like. It's like hundreds or whatever it was.
A couple thousand. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. Pretty impressive. Outside of orchids, what are some of your favorite houseplants to cultivate?
I would say my top would be a stag fern. I love a good stag fern.
When they get older?
Yeah. I mean, there's the crowns on them.
What's that shield or whatever that thing is on them?
Yeah, the shield or some people call it a crown or a shield.
Cool.
You get a bunch of those growing on it, and it just looks amazing. A variegated monstera is
online everyone's they won't be quiet about it. I'd say they won't shut up about it, but yeah, you see it online, everyone is just buying, trading, talking about it, wanting to learn how to cultivate.
Established
like the Thai constellations and all that.
You see so many of them now that they've got to be real established to be but when they're amazing. Like I'm talking like car-sized specimens.
Where the leaves are as broad as a human.
Essentially,
yeah. Get half of it's green, half of it's white.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I know, yeah.
All right, so I'm loving that. What are some varieties that people tend to grow that are just bulletproof? That are like for me, I love my snake plants. They're so easy to grow and cultivate, especially in a classroom setting. If I'm away for a week or two or a summer, I can come back and they're pretty forgiving. What are some of yours on your list that you just know if someone comes in, they're like, hey, I want to start some houseplants in my house, what are some that I can't kill?
The first one I'd take a guess to is the Anthurirum painter palette. The very common Anthurium, it's the one with the bright like red, yellow flower on it. That thing, I mean, you can forget to water it for 10 days. You can grow it in a low light setting. It can grow good in fluorescent lights. That would be just as equivalent to like a snake plant. Obviously, you can't go as long as a snake plant in between watering. And then I think another good bulletproof would be like an Aglaonema. Aglaonemas, they're actually kind of underrated. A lot of people pass the Aglaonemas by, but don't. They're very good plants, super easy. I forget to water them, and I'm like, man, when's the last time I watered this thing? And then I'll not water it that day and go, oh, I didn't water it that day. 2 days later, finally go water it, and they just thrive. They're easy plants.
What do you think are some of the common mistakes that you keep hearing and seeing that could be easily corrected?
Potting media. A lot of people, when they buy plants, they just think annual dirt will do, and they just buy whatever kind of potting soil. But really, it's beneficial to figure out the growing conditions of the plant. Like Anthuriums they grow attached to trees. They don't want to be in a potting soil. You actually want to amend that potting soil. You can buy potting soil, but then mix in orchid bark or pumice. A really good recipe for, I would say, 80% of the plants that we sell here at Green Acres in the houseplants is 33% pumice, 33% perlite, 33% peat moss. You mix those three together, and that's like literally the perfect mix.
So it can hold some moisture, but it has plenty of opportunity for air to infiltrate.
Exactly. And then from there, you can start playing with it. You can start adding compost. Like I get seabird droppings, and I amend a little bit with that, maybe 12%, because a lot of houseplants don't really want a real rich soil, you know.
They just need a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of nutrition.
Yeah.
So soil's super important. What is the relationship between the amount of light a plant's getting, the type of soil that it's potted in, and our watering practices, and how we balance all those?
Yeah, that is like the perfect trifecta, or like the little triangle, and trying to be evenly balanced on all three things really is ideal, but you know, we have a busy life. You're never going to be balanced, and you're never going to be a perfect watering schedule.
And everyone waters a little different. I know some people take care of their houseplants and they really kind of love them to death a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm guilty as charged. I had a plant struggling, and I just remember like, man, this thing's struggling, so I guess it needs more water. And so I'd water it a little bit, not even a lot, and then I'd come back the next day, still looks like it's not happy. I guess I didn't water it enough, and I'd water, and then I realized, oh, I'm just drowning this poor thing. I pulled it out, its roots were, black as night and smelled like my feet. So not good, right?
And then you realize, oh, wait, the issue wasn't water, it was light. It was in too low of light. I needed to get it,
Where it's not even growing.
Yeah.
Not even using the water that has access
exactly.
to it.
Some people, they'll say, I bought a plant from you guys and I repotted it and it died a week later. And I'm like, well, you probably repotted it and then watered it, drowned it.
How can people balance, like if somebody tends to want to spend more time, if they just have that tendency to water a little bit more heavily, a little more frequently, and some of those of us kind of like to survive with, giving our plants a little less time and energy because, like you said, we're busy. Can you balance that out by choosing different mixes or adding more organic matter or less, depending upon how you water and what the plant requires?
Absolutely. That's how you get kind of balance. Once you figure out your media and what plants are which, let me back up. Let me say you're the type of person that likes to walk around and kind of water every day or every other day. Well, if you create a media that is really well draining, it kind of forgives you. You can go around watering daily or every other day. If you're somebody who you have a wife and kids and you're busy, you may want to put a lot of peat moss into your mix to retain moisture. But then also balancing it out with doing a little bit of studying of figuring out hey, is this plant going to do okay in peat moss? Spending at least 2 or 3 minutes doing just a very basic search online to figure out, is this plant terrestrial? Is it semi-terrestrial, or is it an epiphyte? So finding that out really is going to help. And then you can kind of balance your water, your fertilizer, and your light with just a little bit of studying, really.
Love it. You brought up, we talked about light and how that's so important. Where are the best locations for a plant to grow, or does that depend on the house plant? Are there better plants for low light conditions? What are some of the best ones that can handle that bright light? I know I have some windows in my house that let in so much light, and they're so, like you said, they're south facing, get that late afternoon sun. I know some houseplants wouldn't appreciate that, and the other corners of my house are pretty dark. Can I grow plant? It's like, how do you balance this all out? Are there plants for every situation?
There is. We've been growing houseplants, for literally hundreds of years. There's a plant for every condition. It's just picking the right ones. The short answer, if you were to ask me, what is a fail-safe light? If I put any plant in this light source, it'll thrive. I'd say an eastern window or a western window. I have not come across a plant yet that has been burnt in an eastern window or in a western window. Now, say you have a north side of your house and there's a big tree. There's no light getting in there. Well, then I would try to buy something like a calathea or something with really darkly. A ZZ plant, the raven, the darker the foliage.
Those look so cool. Those erect branches coming up, and the kind of like glossy, shimmery leaves.
Exactly.
And that dark one's pretty rad.
The dark one's nice, and the darker the foliage, a good rule of thumb is that they're absorbing more light. So the brighter a leaf is, the more light it's reflecting. The darker it is, the more light it's absorbing. So if you get like an Anthurirum or a philodendron that has a really dark green leaf, that's going to do better in a low light area versus maybe a philodendron with a bright neon, like the neon Pothos.
Yeah.
Because that's going to reflect a lot of light. And at the end of the day, absorbing the light to photosynthesize is what we're trying to do.
Very cool. I love that. I noticed the cabinet craze has gone full tilt. Can you talk a little bit about cabinet growing of houseplants and what kind of plants do best there?
Absolutely. Yeah. I 100% agree with you. The cabinet craze is in full effect. Everybody's coming in asking what I can put in my cabinet. Pepperonii is a foolproof cabinet plant. You throw that thing in there and it will thrive. Some other great ones. Obviously, all of our carnivorous plants do really well. The begonias, a lot of people are like, I can't grow the begonias. I'm like, get an IKEA cabinet. I promise you'll grow it good in there.
I always see them online. People swapping them, trading them, and so so describe for some of our listeners who don't know what growing in a cabinet is, for somebody who doesn't know.
Yeah, essentially, some people will go to like IKEA or even to the thrift store and get a solid glass. It's usually glass cabinet. They'll put grow lights in it and a little mister or humidifier, and it creates that perfect ambient,
tropical, humid,
exactly,
like a little rainforest environment.
Exactly.
So cool.
And you can do it for pretty cheap, and then it allows you to have some of these more unique plants that you can't really. You're killing, and you're thinking, oh, I'm killing it, but really, it's not you. It
just wasn't getting what it really needed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And the sensitive plant is another good cabinet plant that a lot of people buy. It's that one that you touch and it moves.
Yeah.
A lot of people buy it and they kill it. And I'm like, if you just put it in a cabinet or a little tent greenhouse or, anything to control the humidity, that plant will thrive.
That's cool. What's like the humidity level that they're going for in these cabinets?
45 to 65% is the Goldilocks range of humidity. A lot of people also don't take into effect that a lot of these plants where they grow, they're in kind of monsoon type places where the winters are actually just cold and dry. There's actually no moisture. And then the summers that are really hot, that's when they're getting a lot of water. So there's so much heat and water that the plants are just soaking up all this water. So try to keep that in mind. Like the summer months when it's naturally warmer in the house, you can kind of water more. And the moment it gets kind of cool outside, you can actually pull back on your watering because your house is, staying cooler. Obviously you're heating with your heater, but it's not warming the plants up like you would think it is.
Well, I feel like too, for me, I noticed once the spring hits, they start growing. They kind of perk up, just like the plants outside. It's weird. The indoor plants, even though they're indoor, they notice it's spring as well, and then they start kicking off new growth. So you notice a plant that really was kind of stagnant all winter is now kind of woke up and new leaves, new branches, and then you go through summer, and then at the end of summer now things are kind of going to be wrapping up. I feel like the growth slows down a bit. Is that true for you as well?
Yeah, almost always, and depending on the plant. Some plants will grow continuously all year, they just thrive. But then other plants, definitely like Dieffenbachias, they take a break. The reason why it's so hard to give houseplant advice is because there's so many different pots, different ventilation, different sizes, and then the media within the pot is different. So when people are like, I just want a one-shoe-fits-all solution, I'm like, it's not. The honest answer, there isn't. You've got to learn to
tailor it to that plant.
Essentially. If you're somebody who says, hey, I just want plants for an aesthetic look, I'm not very into them, but I do want some houseplants, buy a snake plant, a Dracaena, throw them in the corner, a big philodendron, and call it good, a Pothos.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's it.
And then you got your garden.
And you don't need to worry about it. But if you want to go further and really enjoy like houseplants, you're going to have to overcome that of, hey, what kind of media is this in? What kind of pot is this in? Is this a good pot? Is this a good pot?
Yeah,
experiment.
I love that. And then finding out that the plants have their own unique kind of quirks and qualities. That's kind of, for me, that's kind of the fun of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when you do go into someone's home or a place where they have the beautiful little collection of a wide variety that, like, as you probably know, that take different unique styles of care, it's pretty cool. I'm always impressed by somebody who has a sweet garden. So I know yours must be pretty cool.
Yeah, you go to like people's houses that have like cool cactus, because that's what I can't grow cactus, but I love them. I try all the time. I have tons that I just cut. But a buddy of mine, he has this.
That's so funny. You can grow orchids like there's no one's business, but cactus you're like, nah.
I think I baby them. Anyways, my buddy has like some of the coolest cactus that I'm just like amazed. I'm just staring at him. I'm asking him 1,000 questions, and I could tell he's like over me because he stares at them all day. It's like me. Sometimes when I'm with orchids, I stare at them all day. So sometimes maybe I get a little tired, and I could tell. But when you find a new plant and you just want to know everything, I'm just like, you've got to teach me everything about this plant. Like, don't put it in front of my face and not expect me to be
curious.
Yeah, curious, exactly.
That's cool. Well, I'm curious about something. You brought up how important soil mixes are. And I think it's something that maybe people don't realize, and I had to learn this for sure, and I'm still learning it, but how important it is to kind of replenish plants that are in pots. You think, hey, I got my perfect soil mix. You talked about the 30%, the 33, the pumice, the perlite, and the peat moss mix. But over time, that soil tends to break down and things change. How do we keep, just as we replenish the soil in our veggie gardens and whatnot, how do we do that for our own houseplants? Or do we need to do that? And if so, how long does it take and what do we do? Like, how do we keep that gravy train growing? It's like if you get a plant going and it's looking healthy, it's like you want to keep that thing going. So what do we do?
Absolutely. And if you're dealing with stuff in 2 inches all the way up to like 8 to 10 inches, I would say repotting every 3 years, you can't go wrong. Once you get into that 12-inch mark, you really actually want to go longer. You want to try to go years, like the Ficus elastica.
So the larger the container, the more time you're kind of affording yourself.
Absolutely. The Ficus elastica, the moment I put it in a gallon, that's it. I probably will never ever repot it ever again. It's just going to grow into a tight little ball and be its thing. And Ficus is like that. I tell guests all the time, they look at the ficuses in the 14-inch pots, and that's why they struggle with the fiddle leaf fig. They go home and they repot it right away, the big 14-inch guy.
Yeah.
And what you really want to do is keep it in that 14-inch pot 8 years, 5 years, and put it inside of a bigger decorative pot. And then that way, on watering day, you take that ficus out, hit it with the hose for 30 seconds, let it drip dry, then put it back in your house.
That does make for easier care,
Like,
I gotta
it is
say.
a night and day difference. And the fiddle leaf fig gets such a bad rap because
I love them.
I do too, but people they're like, oh, I killed that thing. There's such a hard sell here because people think that
I've got one in my living room. It's probably like 9 feet tall, and I forgot to water it this summer for like 3 weeks. It's okay.
Didn't mind it. Yep.
It dropped. I think it dropped. It like showed the leaf just started getting a little wavy. The one on the bottom was like, I'm gonna fall off if you don't water me. And then we got it watered, and everything's okay.
Yeah, they will lose a bottom leaf or two, but they'll go.
And they talk to you.
Months?
I feel like they tell you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can let them dry out. Like you can tell they're liking it, and then it gets to a certain point, and it's like, all right, I've had enough. I'm ready for some water.
Absolutely. I love plants. Snake plants talk to you. They'll kind of fall over. Peace lilies, they're notorious for letting you know on watering day.
Well, to me, that's like the canary in the coal mine for watering some of my plants, because I go, okay, if the peace lily is always the first one.
Yep.
That spath phylum is like always the first one in my collection, at least at the school, to want water. And then I notice the other ones can always go a few days longer. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of like that. It's like they're kind of like benchmarks for each other.
Absolutely. And then like the snake plant or Sansevieria, when it starts to shrivel up and get real thin, that's when you know, hey.
Well, it's a succulent.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it. Just like the succulents outdoors, they're really, I mean, they can tolerate going dry for quite some time, but eventually they will tell you, I'm kind of like you talk about the ZZ plants, like I'm taking from my reserves to survive, so I need some replenishment.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, I'm loving this, Zach. What would be your advice to somebody who's considering getting into houseplants and they want to get started and I need a call to action. I need some motivation. What would be some words for them?
I would say experiment. If you think it's got pretty leaves or pretty flower, buy it. If it dies, it dies. I mean, my biggest successes are born from my biggest failures. If I've killed something, I learn not to grow it that way and then try something different and then have success. Like with my orchid, I was growing it in dirt in a pot with no drainage in the sun. Did a little bit of research, and now I'm literally breeding orchids, and so I would say, try things. If you're afraid to kind of buy a bigger plant, buy a 2-inch, and start small and let it grow into something big.
And that's kind of fun. I enjoy starting with the smaller plants.
Absolutely. Ask questions. Come in. Green Acres has 7 locations here in the Sacramento area. They all have very experienced houseplants representatives inside. They're full of houseplants. I haven't been to a Green Acres and not been impressed with the stock. Every buyer is different. They all have their own unique eyes. The Citrus Heights buyer, she has a real good eye for cactus and succulents. The Folsom buyer, he's got a really good eye for African violets and really unique, like one-off kind of plants. Marshall, Elk Grove, that guy just knows everything about literally everything.
That's cool. I love how each one does have its own unique qualities. For me, it's one of my favorite places to go to in the store because it's always kind of climate controlled. It kind of feels like you're in a cool little tropical environment, and there's always something different.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I hope our listeners enjoyed you. I'm sure they did. I hope they got to learn a bit, but I hope they enjoyed you as much as I did.
Thank you.
All right, we are back from our interview with Zach. Thank you so much to Zach. It's a pleasure talking to you. And he is hopefully going to name his own orchid after his,
so cool.
The Filippelli or something we were thinking.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Kevin, what did you think?
Zach is as authentic of a plant person as it gets. He's so genuine and sincere. I really love spending time with him.
Yep.
And I love learning from somebody like him who has so much experience. He has the passion, enthusiasm, but he really has the background. He's there day in and day out, helping people in the store, but he also just goes home, and then his joy is to spend more time cultivating plants. I loved it, and I think houseplants, everybody should have them, whether you're renting in an apartment or you're at home or wherever. A couple houseplants here or there in the office or just in your bedroom or living room, it can really brighten that place up. There's so many benefits to it. I won't list them all now, but for me, I love cultivating and growing houseplants and tropicals. Getting indoors and growing, what's not to love? I mean, you're in the AC and you're still gardening.
It's pretty nice.
And we talked to some pretty passionate rose people and tomato people that love their veggie gardens, but there is a whole world of fanatics, enthusiasts who just love growing their houseplants and tropicals. And it's so fun to see how people kind of navigate that world. They learn about all the different particular plants they're going to grow, and they try to cater how they take care of those plants to get the best results. And so I think today's episode with Zach is a great illustration of that. I hope our listeners get motivated and fired up to bring houseplants home and grow it as well. If you're already growing, then you know. But if you don't, I encourage you, get out there. Start with a snake plant, like Austin said, maybe a PPP, that pink princess philodendron, or something. Just get started, learn about that plant, try to find the best way to care for it, and I think you might just get hooked. So until next week, garden friends, I really hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Please check back more for just more garden adventures. We have so much more coming for you. I know we're heading into fall, and actually you think the season's over, but things have just begun. I cannot wait for the fall, baby. It's going to be great.
Almost time to start some seeds.
Yes, absolutely. So until next week, garden friends, happy gardening to you all. And please, never stop growing.